Hello, everyone. How y'all doing tonight? So, I wanted to do something a little different. I have been thinking about doing this a little while, mostly because I want to just sketch out some ideas. I already have ideas. I write them down all the time. I just never really focus on putting initiative into them. And I sort of wanted to try like this new drawing program that I sort of stumbled upon because I wanted like the sort of something as an upgrade to MS Paint, but isn't like, super fancy, I guess you would say. I don't know. Because I already use Photoshop and all the other nonsense and ASCII Sprite and such like that. So I was like, I want to try this. You see there's some little guys above my head here. That's my first idea that I'm going to be doing. Is a sort of like a Fakemon concept. You can probably see some similarities between them. So, and that's what I'm going to be exploring with this. With that out of the way, I can switch to the different thing here. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. So, as you can tell, like the last stream and now this stream, I am playing around with this sort of like keeping the bottom bar sort of present, at least on these like sort of like just talking type streams. I wouldn't have them like during the game streams, but because it sort of takes up too much room for those. But it's the sort of a test. Also, they'll be testing for such. All right, testing with such in the sense that wait, can I not see my mouse? Oh, here it is. There we go. So this is a sort of a test thing I'm doing here. Oh wait, I think I have. There we go. I think this has multiple layers, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to try this. Might have to resize the window a little bit. Here, 1 second. One second, I realized my little mistake here. The top of the screen is actually off. How does that look for you guys? It looks a little weird. 1 second. Let's try to reset the transform. Alright, and then just drag it over here. We'll just try to center it for you guys. And then I'll have the Pokemon on the left instead. Like I said, this is sort of an experiment stream. Both with a whole bunch of things at once. So alright, there we go. Alright, and then drag the Pokemon over to the left side. Alright, there we go. That looks better. A little more even. Yeah, right there. Alright, let's see. So the idea here, so I can start now. I had the idea that I wanted, so I never really enjoyed Togekiss as a sort of Pokemon evolution of Togetic. I always found it to be like not really as satisfying as a design as I would hope. So let me close that out. How do I move this? So this will be a learning experience. Why is it like that? 1 second. Let's. Why can't I move it over? Oh, 1 second. Is this it, maybe? No. Alright, I guess we'll work like this. Or not. What the hell? This is a very fun first time learning this. Right here, I have an idea. Why don't we just make a new layer? Just to do a fresh start. So... Oh, wait, I see now. Okay. I see how this program works. So it has a window within the window. Alright, let's roll that out. And now we can... There we go. Okay, I understand. So one thing I like to do is, well, I don't do like full art per se. So there is no like smooth moving in, so we'll just have to work with this. Where is the color selection? RGB. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Much better. So I'll work at this scale. Here we go. So the idea is, so for the first two lines, Togepi and Togetic, they're relatively going to be the same. However, the idea I have for this is they're going to be split into two different forms. One is going to be blue, one's going to be red form. Togepi is basically going to be relatively the same. We're going to be doing similar elements, but basically the Aegon shell is going to be either red triangles or blue triangles. I mean, I'm pretty sure people have had this idea before because it is like a very similar matching scheme. But I wanted to explore this like myself. And like I said, I'm no pro at this. I'm mostly just a sketcher for the most part. And I draw with my mouse, so... But we do have some tools here that work out. Like, for example, we could do the... Oh, God, no, I don't want that. How do I change that? The settings on that. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So I have a little circle tool here I could use to do little perfect circles for me. And then I could just erase parts of it. And can I increase the size of this? Let's see. I don't really want to do that. Here we go, this one. Yeah, much better. Something like that. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, and then we'll just do little egg cuts. Alright, so from there, obviously triangles are going to be the same for the most part. So right click isn't a color option. I sort of wish it was. No, some Photoshop, or not Photoshop, Paint does that. But we can work around that. So one there. Never really realized the one is sort of like a triangle. I mean a square, not a triangle. It's interesting. Never noticed that before. But for the sake of this drawing, there aren't going to be any squares. It's only triangles. Oh, I think I figured out what the right click does. It color picks, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yep. Color picks. Okay, so it might be a keybind thing I have to look into. But like I said, I'm not doing like final art here. This is all sketch work I'm planning out for this, and then I could work on later in a future time, like a full final design concept. Because a lot of times the first pass when you're doing something, it's usually not the best. You got to play with something to get it right. All right. Now let's go to the RGB and grab some colors here. So this one's gonna be, I think, gonna be the blue one. So here, I actually grab it from right here. I think that'd be a good color. So fill those in. And then the eggshell is sort of like a, over here, like a little orange, but it's to be a little faded. That's transparency. Like that color. Yeah, though. Well, maybe a little more. That's a little more of the flesh tone, not the eggshell. It's a little too gray. Let's put a little more red into that. A little more green into that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now with that out of the way for the shell, what we'll do here is that color, open this up, and paint the whites. Oh, is there a continuous option? Because it looks like that was a continuation onto all that color. Let's see. Yeah, options. Let's see, is there an option for this? Let's see. Is that all layers? No, it's a layer turning that on. What does this do? It does nothing. Alright, whatever. Actually, wait. I don't have to do that, actually. I can just... What I can do is just make a new layer and just draw over on top. So, let's make a new layer. Alright, there we go. I'm so used to, like, doing it with paint that I'm like, this is very a paint-like UI. So... I think I might do a little rounded features instead of like the pointed hands, because it feels like that would look a little more cuter. Yeah, I think that looks good. Alright, and now that out of the way, and then get the new color for the body. So, how should I do this with the flesh? So, I know we're doing blue, which is the signifier. Maybe I should do sort of a slight bluish tint to the skin. Because obviously they're still going to be regionals, and just doing the triangles would be just a little too weird. Let's lower them all. But give it a little more of a blue tint like that. I think that's a little too much of a blue tint. These. Also, wait, let me do something here for the music. Forgot about this. Alright, there we go. Much better. I had to make sure the explicit content option was turned off. Just to be safe. I do listen to a lot, you know. Of course, it's a hit everything like just like this says the F word and all that, but it's whatever. But with it off, it'll be better safe than sorry for me. Alright, let's see. Oop, didn't mean to do that. But yeah, I think that looks nice here. Well, not the color, but I think the shape, I feel the shape is really clean for this. I do need to get a little, maybe drop the green a little, drop the blue a little. Hmm. I mean, I feel like the gray is a little too weird. Constructive green. Like that, maybe. But it's still the same color. Let's raise the blue. Let's raise everything else here. We'll get a nice... Yeah, I think the one thing is I don't exactly like how the color system works here. Definitely like in Photoshop a little more. But I mean, I can work with this. It's just a little more of an annoyance to work with just pure RGB. I mean, I can obviously like work with this, but let's see. I'll share that. Alright, I guess that works. That works for me. But we'll rework these colors maybe at a future date. So for the head here, so I think for the most part, we're gonna keep the same head shape, like spikes, but maybe add like a second behind layer spike, because when you're looking at how Latios and Latias have their design, it's a little more spiky. Notice the wings, of course, they have 3 spikes on the end of them, but the back tails have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. And stuff like that. So maybe playing it up a little bit. Something like this, maybe. And I gotta fix out the shape a little here. It doesn't look too bad, like, design-wise, but... Also, I might switch to Minecraft later, which is why I have a... I think in the title I said... So, and more, because I'm not sure if I'll do this the whole night, but it was something I just wanted to explore a little. Just to try out. But... Oh, yeah, I need black. Come on, give me black. There we go. No, I don't like that. Alright, this might be better. Yeah, that looks better. And then... No, actually, like, I'm trying to compare... Like, while drawing this, I'm comparing it with the original. The 3 spikes gives a nice, like, complementary design to it. Which... Let me try that again. Actually, I have an idea. Let me do a new layer. Pull this layer. Can I move this down? Yeah, this way. Oh, I can't... How do I... Oh, interesting. So I can't move something below a layer like that. Weird. That's interesting. Can I select this off? Let's see. Yeah, I can select stuff. Can I just, yeah, I can multi-select, okay. Is there an option to select all the color of something? Or do I have to literally go through and click every single, ugh, God, that's annoying. Actually, I have an idea. Can I deselect? How do I deselect? There, no. It's have to smash this button, I guess. Alright. Let's select this. And then there should be right click should deselect, right? No. Is there not a deselect option? Do. Yeah, I might actually just literally swap over to Photoshop for this. Because while I am in, like, this is fun learning this, not exactly that interesting or... Yeah, let me actually do that. Like, the issue with Photoshop is Photoshop likes to crash a lot for me. So... One second, let me see about that real quick. Let's open it. 1 second. It's loading. Alright, and almost done. Alright, file. New. Custom. Alright, that should be good.